And now they use it to describe anything they didn't buy. Remember when Gambino put it in the zeitgeist? It was all about the people recognizing bigotry, the power of community, not fodder for your clickbait.
That shit is a two-pack of ass.
The Acolyte is the latest Star Wars show produced by Disney. It was supposed to expand and add new exciting lore within the gigantic universe created by George Lucas. And although the reviews have been unanimously positive, well, the fans, they hate that show. And this led to the star of the show, Amanda Stenberg, to release a music video responding to the haters and calling the people who do not like the Acolyte racist. So how did Star Wars go from being one of the most praised franchises in history to being 2 feet in the grave thanks to this music video? Well, time to see how the Acolyte may have killed the Star Wars franchise. But before we get to listen to this exquisite piece of art produced by Amanda, I want you to hear what the fans have to say, because it'll help you understand why her releasing this diss track was a monumental mistake. And even if 90% of the fans do not like the Acolyte, I want you to get a grasp of the whole picture.
Some people are upset that there are black characters in a new TV series, but this guy said something that made me see things differently. Sure, people are saying things like, Star Wars is dead and the woke agenda killed it. The blackwashing is real. But this guy's summary isn't wrong to me. The main character has 2 mothers. Why can't she have 2 fathers that love each other? The main Jedi characters are black or Asian. He's looking for Jedi of the indigenous or Latino persuasion. The only speaking role for a white character was a prisoner? He's bringing awareness to the consequences of only casting certain races as certain characters. The wokest thing I've ever heard. If you're a black nerd, remember, people like this are fighting with insecurities inside of themselves. And if you're one of those people, here's something you can do that can let you care about representation and not make a fool of yourself. Join the woke side with me. Or get some therapy!
Apparently, people dislike the Acolyte because the protagonist is black, the support cast is full of minorities, and that there's not enough white representation. But if you take the time to dig a little bit, not even dig, just take a quick peep, you'll see that the majority of fans do not care about the ethnicity of the cast. People dislike the Acolyte because of the poor story writing, the awful fighting scenes, a cast that claims to be fan of the franchise but don't even know what they're talking about most of the time, and seeing an already established lore being retconned just to fit an agenda.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the fits? We'd be like, look how gay this is, and then send each other a reference photo.
And are you telling me, with a straight face, that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
And that's why people are seething today. But let's look at the comment section. It's okay to defend Star Wars and to have representation, but the show writers have admitted publicly that white men will only be villains or undesirable characters. I have a hard time supporting. Yeah, Star Wars isn't meant to be political. I don't care about the character's skin. I hate that it goes against the prior continuity. We have the original story. Good writers use the subtle words. No, when the cast members say this is not for white people, then you get mad when white people complain. Of course, some people will hate the show because of the diversity in it. Unfortunately, dumbasses are everywhere. But you know this is a minority. So instead of wasting your energy and time on them, why don't you tackle the real problem and stop mixing everything? People don't dislike the show because it has minorities in it. People dislike it because the cast, the show writers are trying to push a political agenda within it. And it's not like it was done in a subtle way. That's not what they want to see in Star Wars. But now it's time to show you a fan that explains why the majority of fans hate this show.
Well, the online discourse around Star Wars right now seems to be either you're absolutely in love with the Acolyte or you're an incel toxic baby who'd rather go boom boom in their diaper than accept a positive new direction for the franchise. With that in mind, here are 10 specific non-fire and space related criticisms of the first episode of Acolyte that accentuate weak writing and story structure that compounded for me into a mediocre viewing experience that has nothing to do with me blindly hating good things that are good. Spoilers. The first High Republic Jedi we're introduced to, Guardian of Peace and Prosperity, watches someone maliciously attack 7 innocent bar patrons before interjecting. sending a knight and a Padawan to investigate someone they know has Force powers and has killed a Jedi Master. The suspect only being able to commit the murder if they left and returned to a maintenance job they work on a crowded ship docked in another part of the galaxy. Even though the Jedi and the suspect are traveling back to the same place, they're put on an unmanned ship with other prisoners, one of whom can literally just turn off the droid piloting it. Wanting to investigate if that suspect is still at the crash site of that ship after enough time has passed for them to have already caught the other escaped prisoners nearby and transported them back to the prison they were all supposed to go to in the first place. The Jedi Master, introduced by teaching the lesson "Don't trust your eyes," seems to be surprised someone he saw die in the past might still be alive. Jedi mind control powers used on everyone except the suspect, who could prove their innocence immediately. Revealing the suspect had a twin to the Jedi they sent hours ago to investigate the situation in the first place. Using a lightsaber to illuminate a dark cave after we're told Jedis don't pull their weapon unless prepared to kill. And finally, the mysterious bad guy saying steel is no threat to a Jedi, to the person who just murdered a Jedi with steel. Now look, these may not be an issue for you. None of these in isolation is a big deal. Star Wars has always had moments of plot holes and questionable structure. But the best of Star Wars also had snappy dialogue, lively characters, and frenetic pacing. And my argument is that The Acolyte lacks the energy to distract from this many issues in 35 minutes of storytelling, so it stands out. And before you wreck me in the comments, I assume you will do your due diligence and check out my dozen other videos explaining why I think there's value in good faith criticism, because there's no way folks on the internet would respond without full context. Right?
This is why the majority of fans hate the Acolyte. It's because of the awful writing. If they were able to create a captivating story, then the fans would listen to the message they are trying to convey through the show. But if the story feels like it's been written by a 5-year-old, how do you think they're gonna react after you wasted their time? But when you try to give it thoughtful criticism, the fans who love the show will say that you're afraid because it's a black protagonist, because there's a lot of minorities within the show, or that you're white supremacist, or blah blah blah. I mean, are you the one paying for my Disney Plus subscription? Yes or no? No? Then I'm allowed to voice my opinion. And I posted a video talking about it 2 days ago, so if you want to check it, here's the link. The fans arguing is one thing, but the actors and the staff should be able to sit down and listen to both sides to understand what the problem is, and especially if the majority of the community has been extremely vocal about their dissatisfaction with it. This is basically a make or break moment for the actor, because depending on how you're able to handle the criticism, this will decide if you become a phenomenal actor or good luck. And which path do you think Amanda took? But now it's time to find out why this music video indicates that the Star Wars franchise might officially be doomed. And as you can see, we are 1 minute into the video, and that's because everything that happened before isn't that important. And honestly, I would advise you to lower the sound. You've been warned.
And now you're listening, I'm gonna tell you something fascinating. They spin and woke, bastardize it and appropriate it. Let's not get caught, woke with something we created. Speak truth to power, keep an eye out for you silly racists. And now they use it to describe anything they threatened by. Remember when Gambino put it in the zeitgeist? It was all about the people recognizing bigotry, the power of community, not fodder for your clickbait. Speaking in which, journal.
That's true. When the term woke was invented, it didn't have the same meaning as it has today. But there's just one simple answer to that, and that's because words evolve, they change. Words do not stay the same for centuries. They evolve, they adapt to the current society. So you can't expect the term woke to stay the same as it was 60 years ago. But the question you should be asking yourself is why the term woke can be seen as pejorative today. And honestly, your music video is contributing to this negative vision of the term woke. So before you talk about the origin of the word, try to find a way to change the current meaning of the word and uplift it instead of doing some.
Unless I'm looking at you, that you forget it's your job to provide the truth. Spreading divisiveness, money, the metrics and data. Seem to give up all your efforts, your money and views. And I can tell that the people are tired and the kids don't trust anything that they do. We can learn something from the understanding. The future's coming and it's always the youth.
Kids, The same kids that would kamikaze the entire future just to go viral, they are the key to wisdom. They are the key to the truth.
Well, I could have so much faith in the youth if they weren't stupid also and just blindly believing a bunch of things on the internet. They somehow think if they listen to a bunch of TikTok finance influencers, they're going to make a bag if they step out the door, when in reality, a lot of those TikTok influencers that talk about money are on finance for everything that they own.
Bro, kids will believe anything. They have no clue. Yes, they see things differently, but at the same time, they don't know shit about this world. Let them be kids. Don't put them into a dumb fight. Thanks to social media, kids know everything and they know nothing. But they aren't supposed to lead people to wisdom. That's why adults exist. But if you can't do that, that's okay. Just admit it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. But please stop the yapping.
But I'm sick and fucking tired of suppressing my rage. 400 years of taking the bullshit to compartmentalize that my ancestors had to encage.
400 years. A writer and spiritual counselor. 400 years, guys. 400. That's what she's talking about. Like, she's been through slavery. I know why she used it. It had nothing to do in this conversation. Because right now, it's not about people oppressing you because of your skin color. It's because your show is fucking trash and you just can't accept it. Instead of taking the blame and try to better your skills or just come up with a more elaborated story, you decide to come out of nowhere and add slavery in it like you were there 400 years ago. Yes, it's something that we should always remember. But I'm sorry, but slavery isn't our fight. Today, black people aren't fighting to be free from slavery. We are fighting for different things. So please, when you're gonna talk about this, know when and how to talk about it. Bro, oh my god, 400 years, guys. The show is bad and we are talking about 400 years. Jesus Christ.
If you don't confront the pain that you live with, it'll manifest as addiction, diseases, and hate. I've seen the infection, repression can give you. I'm not gonna be the next one sent to an early grave.
I'm sorry, but this is just disrespectful. The grave. The grave. You are a famous actor, the star of the latest Disney show. You come from a rich family and you talk like you're from the worst part of Compton. What are you talking about the grave? That isn't something that is part of your daily life. Yes, you are black, but your status, your life is way different than the average person in O Block. That's something you gotta understand. The core of the critic was how bad the story was in the Acolyte, and now you're trying to make it a racial thing, that your skin color is what pisses people off. And honestly, I don't know if she's a narcissist, but she for sure is showing a lot of traits, and this is why I said this music video may strongly indicate that Star Wars is officially doomed, because obviously the cast is going to support her. They're not going to drop her, so they'll have to take the same direction as her. That will create a bubble that will make them impermeable to any form of critique, any form of progress, because now they think that their vision is contested because they are actually on the right path, because they are onto something, and that pisses people off. Like, at the end of the day, you are making the show for the fans. If they don't like it, no matter how much it hurts your ego, listen and do what they want. That's just how it works. They pay for that. It's their money that allows you to live, that allows you to get a paycheck. So please respect the fans. If they don't like it, change the things that they don't like to please them. That's just, it's that simple. No need to dance 30 minutes like this for nothing. Please No need to do a black and white video to make it seem like you're fighting against the oppressors. Seeing how you're trying to pull the kids, the slaves, the black community into your mess makes me thankful that you weren't in Endgame, because otherwise Thanos would have won. No one would have followed you. It took her 3 days to produce that. 3 days. And I know you could lock her up in the studio for like 5 months. She would still come up with that same trash, because the problem lies here, not in her talent, but in her head, in her mind. It's her mindset the problem. I'm telling you, next to her, Lil Pump would look like a musical genius. That's how bad this shit is. But that'll be all for today's video, guys. Any form of criticism is seen as bad today, so I don't know how we plan to advance, but we might just take a few step backs in the next few years. But if you liked the video, honestly, sub, like, comment, share with a friend. All you had to do was listen to the fans.